Hello everyone, welcome you all once again on this online lecture platform. And in today's video lecture we're going to learn extraction process that is carried out for metagenomic analysis. So in this particular topic we're going to learn methods of extracting total bacterial DNA from habitat and metagenomic analysis. So before carrying any kind of molecular analysis, whatever may be the technique, we should have purified DNA sample. It may be from culturable part or it may be from unculturable part. But before carrying any kind of molecular analysis or using any kind of technique, we should have pure form of molecules. It may be DNA or RNA or purified form of these samples. So it is very crucial and important step in any kind of analysis, instrumental analysis or molecular based studies. And here especially in case of metagenomics, as we are going to take samples directly from environmental sources, so lots of contamination is there, and there is necessity that the samples that we are going to analyze, they are highly pure. Okay, they should free from any sort of contamination, otherwise it will create problem. It creates hurdles in results and analysis part also. So this is very crucial step in case of metagenomic analysis and other kind of analysis also. So here in this today's lecture we're going to start with how to extract bacterial DNA directly from environmental sample and how to purify. So extraction and purification is the most important as far as metagenomic analysis is concerned. So let's recapitulate what actually metagenomics is. So it is study of unculturable bacterial diversity, and here the study is carried out for those microorganisms to which we cannot cultivate in laboratory condition by providing artificial environment. Okay, or they resist to unculture concept we have already discussed, strategies we have already discussed, and here the basic scheme that is used in metagenomic analysis is given. So it is very straight and forward approach. So if we cannot culture the cell, so we can directly isolate molecules like DNA and RNA from environmental sample, and after extraction and purification we can know sequence of their nucleotide arrangement, or simply by sequencing of these molecules we can identify which type of microbial species are there or which types of microbial communities are there. And in case of functional genomics, even we can also understand what type of function they perform at that particular ecological niche or ecological habitat, and we can make cloning of that DNA that is extracted from unculturable bacterial diversity, and after cloning we can perform this cloned DNA for various functional analysis, whether it produces antibiotics, whether it produces products of commercial importance, because most of the products of biological importance or biotechnological application that are come from unculturable bacterial diversity, and it is very high priority research area in nowadays to extract or to bioprospect bioactive molecules or compounds, beneficial compounds from this unhidden or unrevealed microbial community. Okay, so this is basic approach for any kind of metagenomic analysis. So we can take samples from any environments. It may be soil, it may be water, it may be sediments. Okay, soil it is rich with microbial diversity as well as rich with various numerous microbial species, because it is a reservoir of nutrient. It contains nutrients in abundant form, and it has microenvironment that is most suitable for growth. As compared to water contain very less amount of nutrient. Okay, but both environment, they contain plenty of microbes, and the general approach for extracting DNA or RNA sample from these two environments here is mentioned. In case of environmental samples, sometimes DNA we can find in free form, because after cell death the DNA it get leaked out from that cell. Okay, but most of the time when cells are viable, cells are live, so for extraction of the DNA or RNA we have to lyse that cell to isolate that DNA. Okay, so here there are two types of approaches that are used: direct approach, indirect approach. And this particular scenario is used for viable microorganisms. As I have already told you that dead cells, they leak their DNA and we can directly extract and purify that DNA. But in case of all viable cells, we have to lyse that cell for isolation of DNA and its subsequent purification. So general scheme of metagenomic approach, it includes any kind of environmental sources from which we have to get samples. It may be soil or it may be water. So here the general scheme of metagenomic approach is given. Soil DNA is required by direct or indirect lysis of cells from soil particles, and recovered DNA is purified, fragmented and ligated into the linearized cloning vector, which is introduced in suitable bacterial host, and the delivery library can be screened for specific function or sequences. Means what? So first we have to choose sampling site, and from that any sampling site we have to extract cells, and after lysing that cells by various method we'll get DNA or RNA sample, and subsequently we have to purify that samples. After purification and fragmentation of that particular DNA or RNA, then cloning is carried out to make cloning libraries, and that metagenomic library is further screening for functional analysis. Means what type of functions there that microbes perform, and also second is sequence based screening, by which we can classify microorganisms and we can identify which type of microbial community is prevalence at that particular soil or water environment. So these two approaches, they are important. First is functional screening, means that cloned fragments they are analyzed for any bioactive compounds, and further second approach is it is used in molecular based phylogenetic approaches. Okay, so first isolation of metagenomic DNA. The DNA content of that entire soil or water sample is known as metagenome. Okay, genome is the total genetic constitution of an organism. Okay, for any organism, the total genetic constitution of that organism is represented its genome. In case of bacteria, the bacterial genome represents chromosomal DNA plus extra chromosomal DNA. In some cases, that is known as plasmids. In case of eukaryotes, it includes chromosomal DNA as well as organelle DNA. So all these comprises genomes, and study of that genome is known as genomics. And here we'll studying metagenomics, means the direct analysis of DNA or RNA that is taken from environments. So methods described for metagenomic DNA isolation from soil and sediment samples can be broadly classified into direct and indirect extraction procedure. So these are two basic approaches. First is direct approach and second is indirect extraction approach that are used for DNA isolation. And the ideal methodology should include unbiased cell lysis and extraction of their nucleic acid, so there should not be any kind of error while doing all these operations. And the direct DNA isolation method is based on lysis, cell lysis within sample matrix and subsequent separation of DNA from matrix and cell debris. So in direct method, cell is lysed directly at matrix sites. Matrix is the solution, and that lysed cell, if the cell after lysis, the leaked DNA is isolated. Okay, and in case of indirect approach, it involves separation of cells from the soil matrix followed by cell lysis and DNA extraction. So here in indirect approach, first cells they are separated by various means of centrifugation and all other methods, and after separation of that cells, then they are lysed and DNA get extracted and purified. And in case of a dynamic DNA isolation, the lysis methods they are carried out at directly environmental sites, and then the leaked DNA is isolated. So cell lysis is the main and the first most and crucial step in this overall in this process. So if we want to get intact chromosome or intact DNA, so we have to lyse that cell, and after lysis all the content that is drawn from that cell, and after drawing that content from that cell we have to separate the molecule of our interest, that is DNA or RNA, and further purification and its characterization is carried out. So cell lysis is the main important step. It is critical in soil metagenomic DNA extraction, and it is designed to release the DNA by breaking the cell wall and membranes of microorganism. So cell lysis method generally involves breaking of cell wall as well as membrane, and it may be carried out, or it is usually carried out by two modes. First is chemical or enzymatic lysis, and second is mechanical disruption. So although the cell lysis efficiencies have been improved sufficiently by several investigators, complete cell lysis during DNA extraction still remains elusive and extraction biases still exist. So there are this still various approaches are unhidden in cell lysis methods, and there are still some gaps that remain, and regular improvement is continuing in these cell lysis methods. So chemical or enzymatic method includes some sort of detergents as well as some enzymes that breaks the cell wall as well as membrane, and is a relatively gentle, and they often discriminate against particular cell types, and they do not completely penetrate soil or sediment samples. So here they often discriminate, means they are specific and they are gentle as compared to mechanical disruption, where it is methods they are of very harsh and use more uniform cell disruption and disperses soil or sediment samples to allow good penetration of lysis buffers. Therefore mechanical treatment is more effective and less selective than chemical lysis. So both of these methods that are used in either single or in combined way to break the cell and to extract DNA from that cell. So here some of the mechanical methods that are used for disruption, they are mentioned. In that, first is thermal shock, then bead based method. Beads in here glass beads are used, and the glass beads they are mixed with cell population, and after homogenization and beating, the cell get break. Then fourth type is microwave heating, and last one is ultrasonication. So these are some of the mechanical methods that are used for disruption of cells. The next chemical disruption method includes lysozyme. lysozyme is an enzyme that breaks the cell wall of bacteria, and some of the detergents like 2,80 sodium deuteracyl sulfates, they are commonly used to break the membrane as well as cell wall. So mechanical methods are mostly favored as compared to chemical method, and sometimes both of these methods that are used in combination, because not a single method is sufficient to extract that DNA. So since no single method of cell lysis is appropriate for all soils, so different combination and modification of lysis protocols may be needed for different soil samples. So the lysis methods or protocols that are designed, they are different for different kinds of soil samples as well as other environmental samples, and we cannot surely say that particular method is best and particular method is not as good as that particular method. So we have to use these methods in combination, and we get success after using this method. So first is thermal shock. So thermal shock, again, it is mechanical method, and it consists of repeated freezing and thawing. Repeated freezing and thawing means heating for short time. So repeated freezing and thawing the sample suspensions, and number of freeze and thaw cycles and incubation time and temperature can vary. So here basic approach is what? The samples, they are freezed, again these samples, they are heated. So freezing and heating, these are operated in cycles, and after some cycles the cell get break and the DNA get freed from that cell. So thermal shock is less violent than other mechanical treatments such as microwave heating as well as ultrasonation and bead beating. So here we use freezing and thawing process. Then next is ultrasonation. It is most widely used method. Ultrasonic waves, they are used to break the cell wall, and here ultrasonic waves, they produces some shear forces that breaks the cell, and ultrasonicator is the instrument that is used for this to carry out this ultrasonic modes of DNA extraction or cell wall breaking. So ultrasonation treatment efficiently releases bacterial cell bound to soil aggregates, and power and duration of sonication treatment, they are optimized based on lysis efficiency and shearing of DNA. So basically ultrasonic waves, they create shear forces that breaks the cell wall, and we get DNA out of that cell. Then microwave, again these are waves of shorter wavelength, and heating is used by using microwaves, and after heating the cell automatically it get breaks and the DNA, we get free DNA. So microwave heating is more efficient than any kind of enzymatic lysis, and especially it is used for gram positive cells as well as spores. Then next is beads. Here glass beads, they are used to lyse the cells, and the beads, they are mixed with cell population, and beating or homogenization is carried out to break that bacterial cells or microbial cell population. So these are all about mechanical methods. The next step is extraction. So once we are succeeded in breaking that cell, DNA extraction is again second most crucial step, and after lysis it uses classical deproteinization in organic solvent. So we know that after breaking the cell, the DNA will not going to be get in purified form. Lots of contaminants are there in case of soil, various acids, organic compounds and other things are there, and if we in case of isolated cells, after breaking that cells, the all cell material, it contains various organelles and other molecules, they usually contaminate. So we have to extract our molecule of interest, that is DNA, from all these preparation. So here traditional methods, they are or organic solvent based methods that are used. It includes phenol and phenol chloroform extraction system, then chloroform and isoamyl alcohol extraction system, and proteins, they are major contaminants, and Proteins had also been salted out using normal salting out as with using sodium chloride and ammonium acetate. That process is known as salting out or salting in process, that is used to purification of proteins. And here protein, they are the major contaminants that are usually associated with any kind of DNA, and the protein precipitate during centrifugation at low speed, and the nucleic acid, they are recovered in supernatant. So all these treatments, they are used in single or in either in combination to extract DNA from that sample. So pH is the again important factor in any kind of extraction process related to molecules like DNA, RNA, protein, and the pH of extraction buffer also plays a vital role in the recovery of soil metagenomic DNA. And after screening, it is found that after screening 20 different soil samples to determine at which pH, means optimum pH, the maximum DNA get extracted from that buffer, and it was found that the highest yield was obtained between pH 9 to 10, somewhat near it is alkaline pH, alkaline value, and larger amount of humic acid material were released at pH 10, and therefore the ideal range for pH for carrying out extraction process is 9 to 10. The next important step is DNA precipitation. So to purify DNA, we should precipitate that DNA, and the DNA precipitation, which is performed to discard the extraction buffer and contaminates all sort of contamination, and it is also crucial step in influencing the quality of metagenomic DNA. So after deproteinization, DNA precipitation of DNA is achieved with either isopropanol or ethanol based method of DNA precipitation, and sometimes polyethylene glycol PEG has also been widely used for precipitation of soil metagenomic DNA. So here solvent based precipitation as well as polyethylene glycol based precipitation methods that are commonly used. The next, quantification of metagenomic DNA. So before carrying out any kind of instrumental analysis or metagenomic analysis, or by using different sorts of techniques, we need samples in sufficient amount or sufficient quantity. Okay, so we can perform analysis whether it may be PCR or it may be electrophoresis. So at least we should have a minimum quantity to carry out further analysis, and quantification is again one of the important steps in metagenomic DNA analysis. And generally absorbance at 260 value is used to determine the concentration of DNA, and the absorbance at 260 and 280 ratio is calculated to access its purity, and the ratio of at 2 absorbance 260 upon 280 ratio, it in below 1.7 indicates the protein contamination, and if the ratio is more than 1.7, the DNA can be quantified based on absorbance at 260 value of 1 equivalent to 50 microgram per ml. So here these are absorbance based method, that is spectroscopic analysis is important as far as quantification of metagenomic DNA is concerned. And generally absorbance is measured at two readings, and first is a absorbance as 260 nanometer, and second is absorbance of the same sample as 280 nanometer, and the ratio for these two values, they are calculated, and below, if that ratio is found to be below than 1.7, then it indicates major protein contaminants, and if the ratio is more than 1.7, then we can assume that the DNA is quantified and it is purified. So generally value of absorbance at 260 nanometer, if it is 1 or equivalent to 1, then at that time the DNA sample is considered to be the 50 microgram per ml. However, humic substances interfere with the quantification of soil DNA. So keep one thing in mind, that in case of a metagenomic DNA extraction and purification, humic acid is the most hurdle, and it is a major contaminant that is found in soil environment, and it is the natural content of soil. It provides nutrient to crops, as well as it has other roles in water holding and all these things and in maintenance of soil fertility, and it is the major contaminant if you are going to analyze a sample from soil. So it creates problem in absorbance while doing this procedure, and it has been reported in many studies that absorbance at 260 indicates the level of humic substances rather than DNA. So most of the time we get false result, and the absorbance is nothing but due to DNA, but due to that humic acid contaminants. So estimation of DNA concentration by dense ionometric analysis of pythidium bromide, ETBR, stain agar gel is another major approach that is used to quantify DNA, and it is used in combination with previously described method. Then alternatively, fluorometric analysis is used, which is carried out by using fluorescent dye, that is picogreen, and it offers coefficient quantification of soil DNA. And picogreen binds specifically to double stranded DNA, and the DNA picogreen complex is quantified by fluorometer. And using this approach, DNA concentration from 25 picogram per ml to 1 microgram per ml can be quantified. So this is again very sensitive method. Here the dye named picogreen is used. The dye specifically combined with DNA, and after combining, some sort of absorbance that is carried out by fluorometer is used, and we can quantify amount of DNA. So the overall efficiency of metagenomic DNA isolation method can be determined by comparing the total DNA obtained from known cell density of sterile seeded or soil samples with DNA extracted from pure culture. However, the presence of extracellular DNA in environment samples results in higher recovery, which may be overestimate the efficacy or efficiency. Then here the remaining part of this lecture will going to continue in coming video. So thanks.